The noises of the bustling yacht club seemed to fade into silence as Emily heard her own voice repeating the words she'd just spoken. "I'm pregnant." Opposite her, Daniel and Chantal wore twin expressions of surprise. Neither uttered a word. Emily herself felt too stunned to say anything else. It had only been a minute or so since the pregnancy test she'd taken in the yacht club restroom had revealed her new reality. It hadn't properly sunk in yet. It was Chantal who finally broke the silence, not with words, but with a squeal of delight. Her joyful exclamation seemed to shake Daniel from his trance. He reached across the table and grabbed Emily's hand tightly. Tears sparkled in his eyes. "Really?" Eyes locked on Daniel. Emily nodded. A wave of emotions rushed at her. It wasn't just shock now, but excitement, delight, joy. There was a baby growing inside of her. She was having her own child. She and Daniel had created a new life together. Their love and commitment had brought them this moment of blissful wonder. Chantal started bouncing up and down in her seat. "I'm going to be a big sister!" she cried. Emily and Daniel's intense moment dissipated as they were brought back to the here and now by Chantal's exuberance. They both laughed, and Emily nodded in affirmation of her statement. "When will the baby be born?" Chantal asked eagerly. Emily shrugged, still struggling to accept her new reality. "I don't know yet." She counted back in her head, trying to work out when she could have conceived. The baby, though wanted, was not planned. A happy accident had happened somewhere along the line. Emily thought about the funny turns she'd been having recently, the ones she'd put down to stress, and the numerous moments of nausea that she'd assumed were anxiety. Could they have actually been the first signs of pregnancy? She'd been so rushed off her feet recently, what with the wedding, the adoption, her father, and Roman Westbrook, that she hadn't even realised her period was late. As she thought about it now, she realised that she'd last had one 1 week before they married. Weeks ago. If she'd conceived on their honeymoon, she may already be halfway through her first trimester. "We'll have to speak to the doctor," Emily explained to Chantal. "They'll be able to work out how long I've been pregnant and tell me the due date." "It will still be lots of months," Daniel added, "so you'll have to be patient." Patient looked the last thing Chantal would be able to be. "Can we make a calendar?" she asked, her eyes wide and sparkling, "so we can count down the days?" Emily beamed, touched by Chantal's enthusiasm. "That sounds lovely," she said. "Can we make it really big?" Chantal continued. "As big as a whole wall?" She stretched her arms out as far as they could go. Emily nodded. "Okay, with rainbow colours, if you want, and glitter." Emily laughed. "That sounds wonderful." It was such a relief for her to know that Chantal was happy for her. Sheila's pregnancy had caused a whole host of emotions to erupt in Chantal, compounded by the fact that her friend from school, Toby, was also soon to become a big brother. Emily had been slightly concerned that Chantal may act out as a result of the news, but so far she seemed nothing but excited. Emily reminded herself to let her teacher, Miss Glass, and Gail, the school counsellor, know about the situation in case Chantal had a delayed negative reaction to the news. Daniel's expression turned serious for a moment. "Chantal, will you be able to not tell anyone about this yet?" he asked. She looked down at him and frowned, visibly deflated like a popped balloon. "Why not?" Emily knew why Daniel wanted to keep it hush for now. She wasn't yet past the critical first trimester. This was her first pregnancy, and she was an older mother. At 36, it fell into the horribly titled bracket of geriatric pregnancy. The chances of her miscarrying were higher than average. The thought caused a jolt of alarm to shock her. "So we can keep our special Moray family secret," Emily said, tapping her nose. "It will make it more fun." Daniel looked up, his expression relaxing somewhat, presumably at the way Emily was handling the slightly delicate situation. Chantal's frown turned to suspicion, then it disappeared as quickly as it had come. "Okay," she said, raising her eyebrows, suddenly on board. "But then, what about Papa Roy? He's family, but he's a Mitchell, not a Moray." Emily considered her question for a moment. What about her father? Should she tell him before the first trimester was over? Should she tell anyone?